Let me know when we're live, Marquita. Can you see us? All right. Are we live? Oh, there we go. There we are. Very good. Let me find us together. Yay. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. I can't hear you.
Can't hear me.
I hear you now. I hear you now. Well, it's nice to see your smiling face. Queen of Mortgages in the house this Saturday morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Cheers with a cup of tea to you, my sister.
You know how we're doing it. It's coffee. There
It's
we go.
coffee, Queen of Mortgage. I need to give me some agent for the people cups. I think that's my next order.
Quick, fast, in a hurry.
I got the bobblehead.
Did they decide to look like you or no?
Yes, that's what most of them said without the glasses. You know, I was like, all righty then. Well, I guess she's a keeper then because I wasn't feeling her. Anyway. So yeah, I posted out there this morning. I wanted to chat briefly. Obviously, we're running a little behind it. I'm running a little behind this morning. But I wanted to chat with you briefly about VA financing. And I mean, I had an experience in this current climate that we're in. Let me know if we're still doing the, can you still see us side by side? Because I want to flip to
yes,
it.
ma'am.
Okay, good. So we're still side by side. Great. So I had a situation where it was a bidding situation where there were multiple offers. Of course, the market that we've experienced this year, where we have very, multiple offer situations. Anyway, there was a realtor that was not willing to accept our offer because we had a veteran who was using their VA benefits and taking advantage of the VA financing. Okay. Why wouldn't a realtor accept that? I mean, in my mind, VA is the best money out there. We are in a community or in an area where we have multiple military bases and such. And so many families here that are either active or retired military veterans that would obviously want to take advantage of their benefits for putting themselves out on the front line for us. Why not? But why wouldn't a realtor or would not want to accept a VA buyer? Financing. What's your take on that?
I think it is a huge myth about the actually VA loan. Now, there was a time where VA financing was frowned upon years ago because their system was antiquated. Realtors and the real estate community felt like they were too hard on people for appraisals and different things like that. That has since changed, and it's changed for several years. That's been different, but it's almost like, I don't even want to put it like this, but you know how a lie spreads quicker than the truth, right? So it's like you keep passing down this thought process about the loan, and it's just a misunderstanding. It's a misunderstanding. And I think sometimes people think too, because the veteran has no down payment, that no down payment means it's a bad loan or that they don't have money. And that's just not the case. They have served, they have a reason that they can use their benefit, and buying a home with no money down, cash is king, is something they earned. That's their right. So we don't need to look at it that because there's no money down, that means it's a bad buyer or it's a bad loan. So you have these misconceptions about that. The appraisal process has totally been updated. In fact, they're using the data from CoreLogic, which is the same data that's used on an FHA, a conventional loan. The VA loan at this time has still had appraisal management before anybody else, meaning that you can't skew appraisers with, giving them, pressuring them to get a value. Right. Whereas you could in the past, maybe, call up your buddy and Then we had overinflation of the market as a result. So it is also the only loan that if you have an issue with value, that they have two different times where you can present more information, which is not available on a conventional loan. It's not available on an FHA loan. It's after the fact. You received the appraisal. Now you're asking, can we provide additional comps? So VA has called what's called a tidewater notice, a low tide. So we're possibly coming in low. Before I send you this report, if the lender is communicating properly with the appraiser, then you can provide information up front, okay, before they send you that report. You need to give them that information. So I don't think you've seen that happen on a conventional loan. So I think it's misconceptions. There are fees on a VA loan that a veteran cannot pay. So automatically in the past, that was, you thought, well, the seller now has to pay their fees. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to pay any fees, for the buyer if they happen to be a veteran. However, that has changed. One of the big things that sticks out is the termite inspection.
Thank you.
It's $55 to $75, but I can't spend anyone's money for them. So they don't want to necessarily take it because they feel like the seller's going to have to pay for this termite report, which is untrue if the originating lender or their loan officer is not charging 1% origination. And those fees are called non-allowable, then a veteran can't actually pay for a termite inspection. Obviously, they're not going to pay for any damage or any remediation that has to happen, but absolutely they can if they're not charging, if the lender's not charging the 1% origination.
Well, another fee that they are not allowed or won't, that I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I remember you did a class on Mythbusters, which was a great class, by the way.
I think we need to bring it back.
I think we need to bring that back.
It's disheartening to hear that somebody lost a bidding war because of the type of financing they have. I really feel like it's the best financing on the market right now.
I agree. And then to that point again, about the fees, I know they cannot pay, like a lot of brokerages do charge archive fee or admin fees. That's a fee that the veteran doesn't pay, correct?
That is a fee that the veteran does not pay, but what does that have to do with a seller, right?
Nothing to do with the seller.
It's like, it's just misconceptions. I know we're going to touch on it a little bit next week. I mean, the VA loan, if you have full entitlement, has no money down and there's no limit, right? So we're going to talk about this a little bit more. I know one of the things you have shared with me is that the average sales price for you has gone up tremendously. So I just think it's an excellent vehicle to use, and sellers or listing agents that are advising their clients not to take the deal because it's a VA loan are making a mistake.
Absolutely. And I would just submit and say, guys, do your homework. And then also, again, so those are those fees there. But then one other thing I wanted to point out when you were chatting about the appraisals. So another thing that has changed, or correct me if I'm wrong, is realtors don't realize, I guess the fear is that if there is a low appraisal, that it stays with the house, or this, for veterans, but it only stays with that borrower, that veteran. So if someone else comes along, that value doesn't necessarily, if they don't challenge it or provide, like you were suggesting, some additional comparables or information to the appraiser. However, if that does not work out, that appraisal stays with that veteran. Correct.
It does not stick with the property. So you have some different loan types, such as FHA loans, where if an appraisal is logged into the FHA connection, the value stays in there. I think it's 90 to 120 days if that's already taken care of. But so one veteran goes for the house, let's say appraised low or whatever, the deal just falls through and another veteran comes to buy it, then a new appraisal has to be ordered. It's not sticking within that value. So the appraisal would travel with the veteran and the property. Right. So if that veteran decided, hey, I don't like working with the credit union of Navy, and now I'm going to go over here to work with the Queen of Mortgages, and we needed to order a new appraisal, that couldn't happen. That appraiser would stick with that veteran, even though they changed lenders. So lender, house and borrower, not just the value sticking with the house.
And also taking advantage of if in a situation where you know that there may be some discrepancies with an appraisal, talk to the lender and try to get that re-review or to provide additional comps, because we had a situation where the appraisal came in extremely low. It was an out of area realtor. And of course, in this market, and that's why it's important to work with a local realtor or real estate professional and lender who knows the market, because anyway, it was priced one way to praise another. But funny enough, in the re-review, if you will, the came back actually at the list price value. Well, fortunately for the veteran, he was able to take advantage of the lower price due to some good negotiation on that real estate professional's part. However, but the value did come in at, once they came back, it did come in at the actual list price, or excuse me, the sales price that the veteran had initially submitted the offer at. But bringing that mythbuster back is very important, because unfortunately, there are a lot of uneducated real estate professionals out here. So working with, I was trying to be polite, working with, again, a local lender, a local professional can help kind of ease and debunk these myths and bring them current on where things are. Because I mean, for lack of a better word, it's ignorance. And you're doing your client a disservice, whether you're representing the buyer or the seller. And and also we've had this conversation before, that it doesn't necessarily come down to the highest price on a house in a bidding situation. It does boil down to, um, in most cases, the terms and the financing. And don't be discouraged, sellers. To avoid a VA financing because of these past things. There is no additional expense to you, except, as you mentioned, maybe a $55 fee for termite. If the lender is charging a 1% loan origination fee, correct?
Correct.
So I appreciate that. That's some good information right
Absolutely.
there.
So when you were mentioning the re-review of value, is actually a real term. It's called a reconsideration of value.
Consideration. Thank you.
That is actually sent up to VA with comparables and why, the veteran feels like there's issues. So in anything though, VA
Yeah.
loan, FHA loan, conventional loan, appraisers are still people, and
Yeah.
it is a opinion of value.
Value.
Sometimes it's subjective.
Yes.
And so, I'm happy that for this loan type, there is something in play that can balance that out if in fact the appraisal is no good.
Absolutely.
But they are still people. It's still being done by humans for now.
Yeah.
So there's going to have to always be some margin of error in different things like that.
Yep, I agree. Marquita, on your weekly real raw and relevant updates
Mhm.
that you do, maybe that you can consider maybe bringing back, the topic of maybe a couple of different myths for those that
VA myth busting. I think is warranted.
I do too, or maybe do a class. I mean, like a virtual something. I mean, I think it's necessary. And I certainly speak to your platform specifically because your audience, you have a greater audience that includes other real estate professionals. And,
Right.
again, how this whole wonderful world of social media works. I mean, it just webs out and, maybe someone can share it. And if nothing else, you can educate another professional so that they are not walking around armed with misinformation or old information, because let's face it, our business is ever changing. It's always evolving, and you must stay ahead of the curve, or at least have a knowledgeable resource, which you are to me and a lot of our some clients that we've worked with. I mean, I'm always sharing your information with folks, because and I tell them, look, if nothing else, and I genuinely mean this, you're a great resource. Especially, I always say, especially when it comes to VA financing, because I know that you're very passionate about our veterans and likewise. Um, but yeah, I think it's something that's definitely needed, because I was really taken aback when the realtor was totally against accepting a very good offer just simply based on the VA financing. And I was really disheartened. I was just like,
Yeah.
wow, really? All because of the financing. So again, I think there's some myths that need to be addressed, and I think you're the right one to do it.
All right, well,
Well, thank you.
consider it done. I've been given my marching orders. We will bring back VA Myth Busting 101
Yeah,
as either a Zoom or virtual class. So
very good.
consider it done, and that will happen sooner than later because everything, knowledge is key. Knowledge is power. It's
It
all
certainly
about
is.
communication. And again, you might have sellers that are missing out, and absolutely buyers that are missing out just because of misinformation. As far as buying a home in these times, everything goes with the relationship,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So getting a VA loan with the Queen of Mortgages might be a different experience than getting a VA loan with one of your bigger box banks or different things like that.
Mhm.
However, it is what it is. You should not be accepting offers just because of the financing type. That is just
Right. Not a good one. Yeah.
unless there's something that you already know about the property. I've had situations where it's like, hey, they already know it won't pass an inspection. That's a totally different thing
Right.
than just I got two offers and I'm favoring one over the other one because I don't like the fact that VA means no money down, which makes it a bad loan.
Absolutely.
That's just not.
I've even had a person tell me, you know what, it's not even relevant, but
It's not. I think I knew where you're going.
yeah, it's
They've
not
already
relevant.
they've already had skin in the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
skin in the game for you to be able to do what you're doing right now. So
yes,
I will not let it burn my soul this morning. We will continue
no,
to educate, fight the good fight. Thank
yes.
you to everybody that served or is continuing to
Thank you.
serve.
Thank you. Thank you so
We
much.
appreciate you and going to continue to do the part that my service is, like educating people about this loan. So the VA
Absolutely.
myth busting 101 is going down.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. You heard it here live first. Marquita, as always, thank you for your time for our little 15, 20, per
My
sometime
pleasure.
30-minute Saturday updates. But, again, we just want to be a resource to you guys, bust some myths, and bring you some relevant and current information. Stay tuned for those of you who are with us, or maybe come back and watch it later. Next week, we are going to be together. So we'll be coming to you live. And we are going to talk about, as she mentioned earlier, some jumbo financing and different products that they offer, and that some of you guys who are in the luxury market, or maybe the 500,000 or above market to purchase a home, what type of financing and programs that are out there for you. So please stay tuned. We're going to kind of dive into that a little bit next week. And we wish you guys a wonderful Saturday. It's beautiful tomorrow here. It's going to rain, but take advantage of this wonderful weather. As you can tell, I'm out on my deck because it's nice enough for me to sit out here with my
Yep.
legs bent. I'm getting there.
So it's definitely a beautiful day. I wanted to be on my deck, but I have some neighbors doing some yard work.
Oh,
Yeah, it would have been too loud. So I'm gonna head out there now for some
all
more
right.
coffee.
We're going out there and drink your coffee. It's really nice. It's nice. And look at your beautiful fall foliage. It's
I
happening.
see it.
It's
I
happening.
see it. All
All right.
right.
You have a great one. Thanks again, and I'll catch up with you later.
Okay.